have a foul to give. Steph for three. Got it!
Of course.
Put him to sleep. Night-night. The closer. Game.
He's dejected there.
And then Steph, and that's his emotional.
All I say is we need him. He knows that. We all know that. So whatever it takes to keep him on the floor, he'll be available. That's what's got to happen.
What's up, everybody on YouTube? AJ Russ back to discuss another video, and as you can tell by the title of this video and by the thumbnail, we're going to be talking about the Golden State Warriors. So yes, this is currently continuing my same series highlighting teams before the playoffs, and in this case for the Warriors before the play-in, and just all of the disaster and just controversy behind the team. Obviously we know what happened against the Orlando Magic. They did win the game. Steph's going crazy, but also Draymond Green got ejected in the first quarter of the game. And really this goes beyond just Draymond in general, just a team, how they done the past 2 seasons, because last year we saw them lose in the second round against the Los Angeles Lakers. After winning the title in 2022, the drop of the Warriors right now has been precipitous fall, to say the least. And of course Steph Curry, he just turned 36 years old earlier this month in March, still playing top All-NBA first-team basketball. One of the greatest, if not the greatest point guard of all time in my opinion. Only Magic in my opinion is over him if you were to put anyone over him. Literally has defined the game, revitalized the game of basketball. Everyone trying to pull up from 3 from the parking lot originated with him. But guys, the dynasty is over. In this video, of course, we're going to get into that. We're going to talk about why for sure. The season has just been a mess. You're the 10th seed right now, fighting for your play-in lives, not even playoff lives, play-in lives, and the Houston Rockets are right behind you. They're waiting for you to slip up. And they play against the Rockets on April 4th. That'll be a high-stake game. And how the Rockets are playing right now, especially Jalen Green and just the team overall, they're coming. And maybe if they don't make the playoffs and the Warriors make the play-in and retain their seed, is that really something to celebrate? Right now, you're just hanging on to make the play-in tournament, and that's not even guaranteeing you a playoff spot. You still have to deal with teams potentially like a Phoenix Suns, Sacramento Kings, and Los Angeles Lakers, depending on how the seeding goes into the last few weeks of the season. So that's not going to be a cupcake walk at all. But we are witnessing Warriors dynasty. Unfortunately, if you are a Warriors fan or just in general, come to an end. But before we get into exactly why, guys, make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn on post notifications. You know what we post about here: sports, lifestyle, and pop culture. Videos about Marvel, DC, just everything, guys. And with that being said, let's talk about why the Warriors are falling apart. So guys, where do I start? I mean, obviously this video takes place in light after what happened with Draymond Green. I already expanded on that a little bit, but bro, when does it get tiring for him? For the Warriors, you put so much into Draymond Green and really the whole big 3 being future Hall of Famers and things of that nature, and you love Draymond's passion and how he approaches the game and how he really makes his teammates better. I mean, let's be real, he's a floor general in that aspect. But when does it become enough? From punching Jordan Poole in practice in 2022 to all the technical fouls, all the ejections, hidden Yusuf Nurkic, choking Rudy Gobert, all the things like that. Bro, like, when does it become enough? And for the Warriors, I can tell that they're starting to get fed up with things. Steve Kerr, even Steph Curry, that's why you saw the emotion that he was having in that game, because man, they know how key he is and essential he is to the Warriors' potential success. But there's only been lack of success this year and last year, and really, where do they go from here? I mean, you still have a good team overall, but is it enough? And it's really crazy to see it like this because they just won the championship less than 2 years ago, getting their 4th ring of the dynasty, but it just becomes unbearable at some point. And one has to infer, will the Warriors try to move Draymond Green? Is there any type of market at all for him? I mean, I really can't answer that, at least not right now. And I don't really want to be too negative. Honestly, Draymond, he is an amazing basketball mind. You look at him on TNT when he's on there, and sometimes on this podcast, not gonna lie, I don't watch his podcast that much. I do sometimes, but low-key makes me cringe at times because sometimes he really contradicts himself. You have to acknowledge how intelligent and how high of an IQ he has, but all of that really goes to waste when you can't control yourself, man. Because dude, at the end of the day, this is a sport, this is a game. Obviously you're a professional and you love how passionate he is to win, but at some point it's about respect. And I don't blame these refs for sending a message saying that we're not gonna put up with your crap anymore, Draymond. And honestly, let's be real, when he got suspended those 12 games this season earlier this year, I could for sure see him getting treated for anger management. But bro, everything else, I mean, it's not one of those situations where someone tries to cancel you and you were quote unquote tone deaf or anything like that. Dude, you know what you were doing. Now, I'm really not trying to talk about Draymond in that light anymore because he is a Hall of Famer. I'm gonna give him his respect and his due. But if you're a Warriors fan, I mean, you have to feel that pain for sure. You love the tenacity and love his identity, but you want him to be more disciplined and know when to back off the rest, when to not say stuff, when to not egg him on, because it seems like after he gets a tech in the game, he just goes on more. Like, that's a initiation for him to continue to talk more to the refs and more to the refs. And you just get tired of it if you're a ref, and I understand it. But anyways, moving on to actual basketball play, this team, I would say they definitely do have some bright spots in their future and young core. especially Jonathan Kuminga. After he voiced his frustration to Steve Kerr earlier in the season about his role, he has been hooping, guys. Averaging 16.3 points per game, basically 5 rebounds and 2 assists, shooting 52% from the field. I mean, he has been hooping, and it comes more than just stats, because watching the Warriors play, there's been a plethora of their national TV games, by the way. Despite how close to mediocre or average they've been these past couple of seasons, it's still Steph Curry and the Warriors, so you understand that. But Kuminga, he has been hooping defensively, offensively. I mean, he brings it. I would say that Draymond, he has been a key factor in terms of opening up Jonathan Kuminga's game, because he has been hooping, guys. I don't necessarily know what the future is going to hold for this Warriors team beyond this season, but I do know that Kuminga has to be at the top of the list in terms of staying as a Golden State Warrior for the foreseeable future and for a long time in his career. If you're Mike Dunleavy, who's managing that team now, because his athleticism, his motor, and really just how the team overall has unlocked his game now this season after finding out his role and finding out his footing, it's been great, and it's going to be a good launching point for the rest of Steph's career and just Jonathan Kuminga growing as a player. Brandon Podziemski, he's also a young player for the Warriors that I really like his game. Doesn't average the most points, only averages 9 points per game on essentially 6 rebounds and 4 assists. It doesn't shoot the greatest from 3-point range right now, but he's a key player and a key fixture in that Warriors rotation, and I love how he plays. He starts as well sometimes, of course with Klay coming off the bench now, but he's been really integral and a great young player for them. I think him and Kuminga, they'll be 2 key pieces. Of course, Kuminga being more of a key piece. Like I said, he's been playing great basketball this year despite missing the game against the Magic, but Podziemski, he's been a really good player coming from Santa Clara as a rookie. I think he's really just bought into the Warriors role for him. Steve Kerr has been putting him in good positions, I would say, and he is a great compliment to Steph Curry in terms of being a scrappy guard in the backcourt. I like his game for the Warriors going forward, but I mentioned Klay Thompson a second ago, and we got to talk about the season that he's had this year, unfortunately. So when it comes from a number standpoint, Klay isn't having a bad season in terms of that. He's averaging 17 points per game, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists, shooting 37% from the 3-point range, and essentially 47% 3. So those aren't bad numbers, but it's not what we're used to. Last season, in the 2022-23 season, he averaged almost 22 points per game, 4 rebounds, and 2.4 assists. So that's a little drop off for sure. 5 less points that he's averaging now. He also shot 41% from 3, so that's a little dip as well. But for Klay, you're never just going to leave him open anyways. You know the personnel, you know that he's one of the greatest 5 shooters of all time, so that's what comes with that. But still, everyone can acknowledge that Klay hasn't been the same, especially defensively, since that ACL and Achilles injury, and who really would be, especially nowadays, guarding the type of talent there is at the guard position in the NBA. It's tough, it's definitely rough. But Klay was one of the best 3-and-D players that we have seen in his current generation. But that statement isn't as true nowadays in 2024. But he's still an essential piece, and he will be a free agent going into the 2024 free agency. So what do the Warriors do from a standpoint of Klay and Draymond? Now, Klay, obviously, is going to be tough. He's going to want the bag, and that's why they couldn't get anything in agreement last offseason, because he wanted more money. They ended up paying Draymond, I believe, a 4-year, $100 million deal, something like that. Klay wanted more money, and right now it's not looking as good in terms of him getting that max contract from the Warriors. And of course, you want to see all 3 of them retire as a Golden State Warrior if you are a Warriors fan in particular, but that's looking unlikely right now. With the season that he's having, Draymond being always in and out due to his frustrations at times, and just the overall lack of team success, there's going to be change. I mean, really, it's inevitable. Coupled with that, I mean, Steph Curry, you don't want to waste another year of his prime or near end prime, but I mean, who's to say that it's near his end, because he is 36 years old, but he's still playing great. And I think it's really amazing how these athletes like LeBron James and like a Steph Curry, like even Kevin Durant right now, because he's 35 as well, are still playing great into their late 30s. That's something to be said for sure. I mean, Steph is literally averaging 26.5 points per game on 4 rebounds and 5 assists, shooting almost 39% from the field. It's crazy at 36 years old as well. So you don't want to waste another year of Steph Curry, because he'll be 37 next year. So what are you going to do then? Are you going to retool the roster? You want Steph Curry to retire as a Golden State Warrior. I can speak as a basketball fan for everyone saying that, because there's not a lot of players who purely play in one uniform. Of course, nowadays with all the player movement, but he has to be one of them, because Steph is synonymous with the Golden State Warriors brand. But you have to help him, because who knows how many more years he wants to play, especially with his exhaustion around Draymond Green. I'll be tired too, honestly, not gonna lie. So do you trade Draymond? Do you let Klay walk? Does Klay sacrifice money, being aware that he isn't the player that he was, but can still contribute and be valuable to a contending team? That's a lot of interesting questions. And for the Draymond aspect, if you were to try to trade him, what would teams really give up? Because you recognize how valuable he is in terms of facilitator, but you don't know when he's going to pop off, when he's going to lose his temper. So that's another interesting piece of that. But for me, that's just way too many ifs, guys. And to say that the Golden State Warriors are going to win another championship in the next couple of years, I don't think so. I mean, we see the West. It's stacked. You still have the Nuggets, who are juggernauts. Boston Celtics, they've been juggernauts in the regular season. We'll see what they do in the postseason, because we've seen them crack before in the playoffs. So I got to see more from them. But even more teams in the West in particular. I don't know how the Phoenix Suns will be next year. I mean, they're still this season, of course, but another season with them between the big team of Bradley Beal, D-Book, and KD. And you also have the Timberwolves, who are getting better and better. OKC, they're not going anywhere. The Dallas Mavericks, they are scary, especially Luka in the playoffs. He just flips it to a whole nother level. We're going to talk about the Mavericks soon, for sure. A video is coming on them soon, most definitely. But more teams like that. The Pelicans still hooping. Zion, as long as he stays in shape, the whole team staying well-oriented, they're going to be a fixture in the Western Conference for years to come. The Clippers, even though they've been a little inconsistent and losing some games down the stretch, they're still a competitive team, and they have Russell Westbrook coming back soon. And there's more teams. I mean, it's a lot. So the window, in my opinion, it's closed. And that's okay. 4 championships in 10 years? You're one of the best NBA dynasties, not just NBA, really dynasties in sports history. So that's respectable. All things come to an end, and that's okay. But yeah, guys, y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. Do you think that the Golden State Warriors' current iteration of the team, that their dynasty is over? Or do you think they have another chance? Do you think that they can surround Steph Curry with an adequate team to potentially get 1 more and get 5 rings for that Golden State Warriors franchise in the Steph Curry era? Y'all let me know in the comments down below. I appreciate you guys watching. Always make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at SwaggyRust, and also on TikTok at SwaggyRust02 for cooking videos, shorts, content, things of that nature. More videos are on the way, guys. A few more weeks until the playoffs start. You know, we have more videos covering some of these contending teams, some of these teams on the bubble of making the play-in and playoffs, and just in general, guys. Stay tuned for NFL videos as well, because we have the draft coming up too. So a lot of more content coming. Y'all stay tuned. Be blessed. Hope y'all are doing well. Hope 2024 has been a blessed year for you all. If not, there's still a lot more of the year to go. So you matter. You have great purpose. God loves you. Hope y'all are doing well. Y'all have a good one.